All right, next movie is When You Finish Saving the World. A movie with a title I literally can never remember. I had to look it up 2 seconds before this. Directed and written by Jesse Eisenberg, of all people. Yes, that Jesse Eisenberg. So the movie stars Finn Wolfhard and Julianne Moore as mother and son. And the whole movie is about their inability to connect with each other over literally anything. The whole entire thing is about Finn Wolfhard playing music for people online and having completely different ideologies to his mother, who runs a women's care center for abused women. It's a pretty straightforward movie, which I enjoyed, but ultimately it's not one that I was incredibly impressed with. As a feature debut, I think Jesse Eisenberg does a solid job. The directing is all right. It's good at times. The offbeat nature of it seems right up his alley. The music I enjoyed. Again, it's kind of quirky and weird. But the biggest problem with this movie for me is kind of fundamental. The premise alone just doesn't work that well.
And so the movie was kind of born of that, of the kind of conflict between art and social activism. And these two characters are in some ways, the kind of fight that I am constantly struggling with in my own mind, and their manifestations of that argument.
I think Julianne Moore delivers a good performance. I think Finn Wolfhard's not the best. He's okay. His singing voice isn't great, which I think is the point. It's kind of goofy that he's terrible, but all these preteen girls love him online and give him money. But those two characters are just not that interesting to me. Again, Julianne Moore really has no character, honestly. Her main purpose to the story is to be a plot device which will parallel with Finn Wolfhard. She tries to replace her son, more or less. I mean, that's putting it very bluntly. She just wants to have a connection with somebody and be a mother to somebody. And so she finds someone at this women's abuse center she runs and says, you know what? I'm going to take him to lunch. I'm going to have him run errands with me. I'm going to try and get him into college, just like a mother would do. And that's her character, which isn't a character. It's a plot device. And her scenes are so dull to me, because that's all that she is, just a plot device. And Finn Wolfhard, too, has a little bit more of a character. They paint him very broadly as this complete narcissist who is just in it for the money. He says multiple times he has 20,000 followers. I have 20,000 followers. Look me up. I got 20,000 followers. So there's kind of some fun they have with that, and that narcissistic personality of somebody that does things like that. But that, again, that's pretty broad, and there's not a ton there either. He falls in love with this girl who's political, and then he asks his mom if she would help him learn about political things. And she says, we went to marches when you were young. I taught you all of these things. I taught you these songs that were all political. And I was like, but we didn't see any of that. So I didn't know this about you until you just said that, and we're more than halfway through the movie. That could have been, a character.
The way that she would like to speak to her kid is not always how it comes out. And that you don't often have that in the film. Sometimes our actions in films are less complicated than they are in life, right? So I was really relishing this opportunity to play somebody who was a human being who didn't get it right.
The premise is kind of fundamentally flawed because the writing for the characters is not great, and it's supposed to be a character-driven movie. Not to mention the fact that dramas about upper middle class family dynamics just don't really work for me, I guess. It's not particularly interesting to see people that are very well off just kind of infighting. I don't know. Maybe that's a personal thing, but I just don't care at all. It's fine. It's perfectly okay. There's some good performances. Like I said, the direction's solid, the music is solid, and I did enjoy the fact that it was paralleling the two characters. Like they both are trying to get what the other one has without realizing it and being completely blind to their own mistakes and flaws and being complete narcissists. I enjoyed that concept. They just don't quite live up to it. So I give it a 6. I'll be interested to see if Eisenberg does anything else, just not this again, please.